Hi, this is Judy from Mountain Baby, and usually I write a blog every Sunday, but this week I decided to do a video. What happened was I heard two parents yelling at each other, which is very, very unusual to happen in the store. And I came near to see what was happening because it was kind of disturbing. And the dad was saying to the mom, "How could you let her get hurt? How could you let her get hurt? How could you let that happen? How could you let that happen?" And the mom was saying, "I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. It was my really good friend and her little boy. I just didn't know what to do." Obviously, both of these parents were very upset, very distressed with each other, and also very distressed about what had happened to their little girl. Being the busybody that I am, I actually went over and asked if I could help with the situation and help them sort out what the issues were. And they said, yes, that would be great. What had happened was the mom's friend was visiting. Her little girl was about 18, 19 months old. And the little boy was, late 2.5, getting on to 3. And something happened between the two of them, and the little boy scratched the little girl. She went over and comforted her daughter, and the other mom did nothing. And then they went on playing again. And a little bit later, the boy scratched the little girl again, and the mom comforted the little girl again. The other mom did nothing. This happened 4 times. So as she was telling me the story, the father was going, 4 times, 4 times. How could you let that happen 4 times? And she kept saying, I didn't know what to do. It wasn't my kid. What am I supposed to do? So I said, well, let's take the situation apart a little bit. There are several issues that need to be addressed, and maybe we can find some way of helping the situation if it should happen again, because in reality, these situations do happen again. And the mom said, after the 4th time, the mom finally said, okay, time out for you. And she had him sit down for 30 seconds. And then she said, okay, sweetie, here's a cookie. First of all, I am not a fan of timeout. It basically doesn't work unless you sit there with your child together to calm down. And also that he basically got a great reward. He got to sit for 30 seconds and then he got a cookie. Like, well, what's the big deal here? So the mom whose child was hurt said to me, I know so many moms who just let their kids hit and they don't do anything about it. And it's just like whatever the kid wants to do, it's just coming from the inside, just let it happen. And they take no responsibility for the kid's behavior. And I said to her, well, how do you feel about that? She said, terrible. She said, something needs to happen to control that kid. And I said, you're right. And obviously this kid's mom doesn't see what her role is in helping her kid learn how to be in the world. And from my perspective, the most important thing that your child needs to learn is how to be in the world in a way that's pro-social, not anti-social, that's supportive of other people, where other people aren't hurt, where other people's feelings are respected, and that we can actually live together peacefully. And this is a learned behavior. I taught 2-year-old preschool for many, many years, and I loved it. And 2-year-olds are just a whole other species completely, and I just find them delightful. But they do lash out, they do get very emotional, and they get very physical. And one of the things that we had to do in teaching 2-year-olds is to make it very, very clear that we understand that they have feelings about things, we understand that they want things, that we understand that they get frustrated, but that you don't express that by hurting other people. So there's a bottom line kind of thing there. So what I talked with this mom and this dad about is that they needed to find for themselves what they consider a bottom line. And for them, the bottom line was their child maybe can get hurt once, it's impulsive, but after that, that's the end of it. So we talked about ways of dealing with that. What are the things you can say? What are the things you can do? And the mom said, but she's my good friend. I went, right. That makes it really, really complicated. So let's take all the different elements here that were there. So let's look first of all at the friendship. So you have a good friend and you have your child. Where does your priority have to lie? And the woman and the husband said, well, it has to lie with your child. I said, absolutely. And what's your responsibility there? She says, well, you have to protect your kid. I said, absolutely. You have to protect your kid. So you have to do something to stop the behavior if it's starting again. The other component is it's your friend. So what do you need to do with your friend? And she said, well, I guess I need to tell her that I don't feel good. Sorry, my cat's coming on the table here. Okay, this is Cleo. That you have to tell her that you are not okay with what's happening, and we have to find a way to stop her little girl from being hurt. So let's look at the friendship component here. So when you get into, obviously there's a conflict between the 2 moms happening, right? And in any conflict situation, blaming, shaming, making the other person feel bad about who they are is never successful. what really is successful is what your personal experience is. So the mom whose child was being hurt could say something like, I need to talk to you about this because I feel really uncomfortable about my daughter being hurt, and I have to find a way, and we have to find a way to make sure that this doesn't happen anymore. You never know how the other person's going to respond. She could say like, well, that's too bad, but I sort of doubt it. Or she'll say, oh, right, yeah, okay, let's see what we can work out. And you can work all kinds of things out. One of the things you can work out is that both of you are right there with both children the whole time. And as soon as you see any frustration growing in the child who's doing the aggressing, you intervene right away. And you say, I can see you're really frustrated, but I can't allow you to hit the little girl. And this is very standard in stopping aggression with children anytime, whether it's your child doing it to somebody else or your other child doing it to you. So if you both can decide that this is what you're going to do, we're going to be right there, present right there, so you can see where the triggers are for the aggression and intervene right away. And again, not to shame, blame, or make the little boy feel bad about who he is, but just to say, I can't allow you to hurt her. I'm going to stop you from hurting her, and we're going to move over here for a little while until we can figure out what you can do to get back and play together without hurting her. There's a whole lot of different ways that people phrase this kind of thing, but basically you have to stop the situation, remove the child quietly from the situation without blaming, shaming, make him feel bad about himself, but telling him that this behavior is not okay. It is not acceptable to hurt other children. So if you and the other mom or dad, or whoever it is that you're dealing with, to come to some decision about how to do this together, A, you can save the friendship, and B, you can protect your little girl or little boy, and C, the child who's being the aggression is learning something that this is not acceptable behavior. Now, it's possible that this other mom thought it was fine that her kid was hurting the other kid, and I've heard parents say, well, you know, that's boys will be boys, and that's what they do. And if that's what the kind of response you get, you say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with that, and maybe our kids just shouldn't play together for a while. And that's fine too, because you're protecting your child. You're not saying we can't be friends anymore. You're just saying this situation is not okay, and we just can't do this anymore. When talking to both parents, they both said, yeah, this really makes sense. And sometimes you're just going to come into, and there's lots more to say about aggression and all this kind of stuff, and I could spend 2 hours talking about it. But basically, what the parents of the little girl felt was that they got a bigger understanding of what was happening. They got the concepts of how to deal with aggression, how to protect their child. And always when a child gets hurt, first attention goes to the child who's hurt. Always, always, always. That's where the attention has to go. Take care of them physically, take care of them emotionally, and then you deal with the child who's the aggressor. And again, not in a harsh, punishment never works. Punishment backfires, but just really giving clear guidance and what kind of behavior is expected, that you really love and value the child, but some things need to change. I hope that was enough for those parents. I think they felt much clearer about how to deal with it in the future, and it was something they could work through together and both take the same kind of position when something like this happens again. Okay, so let's think about what would happen to you if this happened to your child. A couple of things to look back at what we just talked about. You have to protect your child. Your child gets first attention if something happens. You have to make sure that the child who's doing the aggressing is removed from the situation temporarily or maybe permanently. You need to talk with the other parent honestly and be real about it, and realize that a friendship that is based on fear is not a friendship. If you're afraid when your friend walks in the door with their child, that's not a good way to have a good day. So basically you have to be really clear about what's important to you, and you have to cooperatively work with the other parent to find a way to solve the situation. And I promise you, you will get into situations like this. It's impossible not to, but if you're prepared beforehand to say, oh yeah, this is one of those situations, somebody's doing something to my child, I don't feel good about it, I need to deal with it and address it, I have to protect my child, and I have to work on a relationship with the other child and with the child's parent as well. So I hope that's helpful for you, and hope you don't get into too many of those situations. So thanks for watching, and if you're seeing this video anyplace else besides my blog, I'd like you to know that I have a blog talking about all kinds of parenting topics, blog.mountainbaby.com, and you're welcome to go on there and look at all kinds of topics. And feel free to share this video with your friends, and also to contact me at judy@mountainbaby.com, and I'd be happy to help you with your parenting problems. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.